Sunday nights are for Scorecard on Channel 1 TV. My name is Benjamin Iketia and welcome to the show. Let's get right into it. This weekend, we had some great things happening. Premier League football, Ghana Premier League, Italian Serie A, Spanish La Liga. In the Premier League, AFC Bournemouth are the new kids on the block. Half the team injured, but they are on an 11-game unbeaten streak. They completely took Nottingham Forest to the cleaners this weekend. It was a performance worth watching. Dango Ouattara becomes the first Burkinabe international to score a hat-trick in the Premier League. So that was something. Antoine Semenyo took his tally up to 7 goals. That was worth noting as well. Arsenal Football Club picked up their 4th red card of the season. Somebody calls them Red Card FC. But this time around, unlike the other games, they managed to win this encounter. Just before we came in studio, Manchester United were in action. Barca were also in action a while ago. Kylian Mbappe has been up to a few shenanigans in the Spanish La Liga. Let's do a quick turnaround. When we come back, I'll get to my guys in the studio and then we'll get talking. Welcome back here on Channel 1 TV. My two good friends are here, Susu Graham and Coach Christopher Nimley. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben.
What's going on? What's going on with you guys? What's catching your attention?
It's cool. As usual, it is the weekend. We eat, we drink, we sleep football. So once the Premier League is alive, we were here yesterday. On radio, we did it. Today, too, we are here to give the people what they've always been waiting for. So it is what it is. I mean, it's been a good weekend, if I may put it that way.
What's going on?
My team gave me an interesting result today. They were 2-1 down in the 90th minutes, but they managed to win 3-2. So.
Hey,
wow!
Was Oscar Walker in there?
No, he was in their stands. They gave him a show.
I see.
Yeah, so that was surprising and unexpected because me personally, I'm a giver up. I'm a person who gives up. So when they scored, so by the time when I saw it was 2-1, 88 minutes, I just closed my mind and said,
3-2 by that time is crazy.
Yeah. So they did well.
Amazing.
They put me to shame. So, but it's good. It's nice.
But that also brought you some joy, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
What did this?
Sometimes.
Well, let's start off the action with a few touch-ons on the Ghana Premier League. Asante Kotoko are top of the table now. Justice Blay scored a penalty that sent them top. Basake Holy Stars managed to hold Hearts of Oak to a draw. So there you have the pictures of the game in your shot there. Just really quickly, just touch on that briefly before we move it on. So there you have the Holy Stars versus Hearts of Oak game. Looks like there was some rain earlier. The pitch looking a bit patchy, but as it is, Accra Hearts of Oak could only manage a stalemate in this particular game. Abubakar Ouattara obviously won't be a happy man, but that's the lowdown. Coach, let me just take snap thoughts before we move on. Kotoko, top of the table. Looks like they used the second round to correct a few of their things.
Wow, it's extremely difficult to comment on these leagues. The only thing we can comment on is the fact that Kotoko won, but we should be talking about how they won the game. What went into winning the game? Then that is what viewers will be.
We should be able to do tactical breakdowns.
Exactly, but at the end of the day, those people in charge of the league, they really don't care. You can clearly see that these are pictures we had to squeeze.
It looks like someone's phone.
We had to squeeze just to
I've
make sure that something of the sort.
I've never seen a broadcast angle like this in
my
life.
Before. You understand? Someone went to the stadium and virtually used his phone and he's put that out there, and that is what we are all feeding on. But the people in charge,
need to do
they
better.
Sit there. They really don't care about this. But let's say tomorrow the Black Stars has a game to play. You see all of them in and around the team making all sort of noise. As if this is your commodity.
Yep.
This is what you own.
This is your priority.
This is what you are to manage. Once this goes well, once this has been done well, I mean, the benefit will be on all our national teams. When the likes of Hearts of Oak and Kotoko, when Hearts of Oak were dominating Africa, when Kotoko were dominating Africa, we saw the repercussions in our national team. But as it stands now, look, Kotoko won, they are on top of the league. Do I actually believe they will be topping the league at this stage? I don't think so, because they themselves, their performances have not been convincing, very undulating, very inconsistent. But hey, they are not the only team that have been that inconsistent. So typical of the Ghana Premier League, not truly competitive. Today is the look.
It's been a long time since we even had back-to-back champions or a team that did a title charge one season
and then followed it up the next season with
usually
the same,
it's like they do it once and then the next season another
person comes in.
There's a lot of turnover and change. I mean, it makes it difficult to even get attached to understand the nature of the league, who is good, who is bad, because those historical trends inform viewers who to watch, who to be interested in. So you can be interested in a team and then by the next, look at a team like Dreams. You win the FA Cup, you do so well, you go to Africa, and now you're on your way to relegation. You can't be, there's too much turnover. It's not good for the viewers, but I will say when Hearts and Kotoko are doing fairly well this season, which is a plus, it's more likely to raise interest in the league. But the clubs themselves, how are they marketing it? How are they taking advantage of this? So there's a lot we need to see. Maybe Wakaso signing will be what they will use.
There's nothing positive about this. Look, we know what is being done elsewhere. Don't go out of Africa. Just stay here. Go to South Africa.
Tanzania.
Go to Tanzania. Go to Nigeria. We know what is being done there. Can't the managers of our league just go to those places and copy? Go and dab for once. Go and copy. Nobody will penalize you for copying. I teach. If my students are writing exams and they copy, they are penalized. But in this case, if you go and you say, look, I want to copy how you guys are doing it here, so that I'm going to do it back home. I'll look at what you are doing that will work for me back home, and I'm going to do it. But at the end of the look, there's absolutely nothing so beautiful about our league. When we come, there's nothing to say, and it hurts. It hurts that we come here, we spend quality time talking about those of others. When it comes to ours, we are so coy because you don't want to expose your ignorance on the matter. And people are watching. And you cannot continue to do that.
Well, let me go to a league that's well structured. Liverpool were in action against Ipswich Town. Liverpool were hoping to extend the lead at the top of the table, and extend the lead they did. Yes, so Liverpool Football Club winning that one. Let me start off with you on that note. So Liverpool extending at the top of the table. They haven't made any signings so far. Does that surprise you? Does that tell you what their intentions are for the rest of the season?
I mean, we've always complained about Liverpool being a sell-to-spend kind of club. They don't like to spend too much money. Usually, they are very conservative. They have a budget they set aside in the summer. They don't like to exceed it unless there's an exception, if you can move the needle or something like that. So I'm not too surprised. They are very conservative with their spending. So it's normal. And then, speaking about the game, it was Ipswich Town. We expected them to do better. We expected them to win the game 9 times out of 10, and they did that fairly easily. I think Cody Gakpo had a very good game. They pointed out that this is his 6th straight game he has scored at Anfield in a row, so that was very impressive. So I really enjoyed that. So for me, I just think Liverpool, they keep marching on, they keep doing very well, and you can't help but admire the way they've been playing, because we spoke about Arne Slot at the beginning of the season. You're thinking to yourself, a new manager, new league, how is he going to respond? And look, all of last season, since he's joined Liverpool, he's lost exactly 2 games. 1 game against Nottingham Forest and 1 game in the Carabao Cup against Spurs. Champions League, they are perfect. So I think things are going very well for Liverpool. And what I like today about this game, not today, Saturday, was that other players got involved. It's usually the Salah show featuring other people, but today Cody Gakpo took the reins. Szoboszlai had a good game. Alexander-Arnold got an assist. So I think other players need to step up, because Salah has about 19 goals, and if you add the goals of the other members of the front 5, the front 6, let me say, because they double pivot and the other attackers, so the other 5 players, not including the defenders, he has the same amount of goals combined and the same amount of assists combined. So that is something that you really have to wonder, that he has a lot of responsibility on his shoulders compared to the whole team. So the other guys need to make it easier for him, because he might have some bad games. He might get tired because it's a long season. So those guys need to step up, and they did that against Ipswich.
Coach, thoughts on a guy like Gakpo, and a guy like Szoboszlai? Talk about those 2 guys for me. They look very different from what they looked like under Klopp. I mean, outside of adjusting to new tactics, what have you liked and what has changed about them?
Let me start with Szoboszlai under Klopp, because Klopp was the sort of very high-octane, expansive sort of manager. He didn't have time on the ball, because the ball was supposed to be moving at a certain pace. Once Liverpool gets it, let's go at it, let's go at it. And he's that type of player. Yes, he was bought from Germany, but if you look at the way he plays at the national level, he's more like a controller. at the national level, he gets on the ball and gets people involved. So when he came to Liverpool and the tactics and the system was a bit different, he struggled. But under Slot, he's been told to calm down because this Liverpool team, they are not as explosive a team they used to be under Jurgen Klopp. What Slot has done is to make sure that there's time on the ball for everybody, per the movement of the team, of the ball movement, I mean. So players like McAllister, players like Gravenberch, and let me say, look, he's been the revelation of the season. To me, I said it here, I didn't think he would fit in that role. I had my doubt.
You didn't think he was a long-term number 6?
At all. But from the way he carried, he reminds me of a Patrick Vieira. Maybe what he should now add to his game is that belief that he can add 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 goals overall in the season from that.
I don't think he scored in the league this
No,
season.
he's not. I think if he were to begin to score, then you look at him as a typical Patrick Vieira.
But he can finish. I mean, I've seen him a couple of times.
He's very good technically.
Yeah, he
he's
can
technically
finish.
very good.
Yeah.
So, but maybe because the league is still being keenly contested, you want him to stay in his role, keep the shape of the team, and get the team to move forward. So I think on the part of Cody Gakpo, he's Dutch. The manager who's coming is Dutch. So it's just like, take it or leave it. They have their way of playing their football. Replica to that of Barcelona, to that of the Catalans. So when a manager walks in and allows you to play the sort of football that were used to develop you, you can only get better. And that is exactly what Arne Slot has done. Look at it. All the Dutch players, I'm not saying they were not good under Klopp, but Gakpo in particular, he's become better.
I think Gravenberch is even...
Yeah, exactly.
Probably taking. He looked lost under Klopp.
It's completely. But now it is the manager who is implementing what were used to develop them. So the chemistry there, the understanding is perfect. And for me, look, that's why I said they'll win the league. I've already declared them champions of the league. It hurts me because they are equaling a record of my team. But at the end of the day, they are deserving champions. No, look, for the sake of Mohamed Salah, who will be leaving this team, he goes down in history as a legend of Liverpool. Nobody debates that, nobody argues that. And for him, I think he will get them to win this league, and it will be a shame to see such a player buy out like the way they've allowed him to go. It will be such
I just want to say something about Szoboszlai as well. I saw something about, there was a study that players, their ability to strike the ball is affected by how much they run.
Yes, it's true.
Definitely
it's true.
So Szoboszlai, who was one of his biggest strengths when he was alive, if you look at him crossing the ball, long passes, long shots, running a lot under Klopp, you are not seeing that talent. We saw the goal he scored here. If he's running less, you are seeing that talent. I saw someone also pointed out that Cavani, when he was at Palermo, his coaches said this guy runs too much, so it's affecting his goal scoring. When he started running less, he started scoring more. So these things really affect us, but we don't see it. Sit on the car, just like, oh,
the Szoboszlai thing makes so much sense because last season there were times where you could see like balls in the 6-yard box. It's either he's running too fast, so he has no rhythm to slow down and strike the ball properly, no balance to like. It's all those things. This season, I'm not seeing any of those things. He seems more under control.
Everybody has got time because
that
there's
just makes
always
a lot of
options.
sense.
When one person picks up the ball, the system allows you to have the option. So there's no need to carry it like we saw under Klopp. One person picks up the ball and then off the mark, the rest were supposed to follow him and join him in that race. And under Slot, it's a bit controlled and it's a bit slower.
I like that. Let's get to another game, and I think this is my game of the round, really. AFC Bournemouth were up against Forest. I expected this to be a cagey encounter, maybe 1-0, 2-1. AFC Bournemouth had ideas of their own. Let's get the highlights. It was a Ghanaian and Burkinabe thing as far as that game was concerned. Coach, this is a very important result for Bournemouth. This is 11 games unbeaten.
Exactly.
Now, that's strange because there was a screenshot of their injured players. And the injured players can form another starting 11. Some way, somehow, they are playing their best football since Iraola has been manager.
Yeah, I remember when he first started, I think he lost his
He lost like 8 or 9.
He lost a very good chunk of games.
8 of 9 games. And everybody, he's not the man for the job. But if you look at the way they play, look, I watched them not this weekend, last weekend against Newcastle at St. James's Park.
And it was the same result.
And it was the same result. Look, the audacity with which they impose themselves on teams that normally...
Two stats to help you. They cover more ground than any other team in the league. They have what they call the highest direct speed of any team in the league.
That is the intensity I'm talking about. And the manner in which they go, and it is not just one or two players. The entire team, everybody seems to be working at that level.
Yep.
And so if you don't catch up with them, they will expose you. We did this game on Sports Panorama, and I was of the view that they will win, but I didn't see this as a wallop. Because I know Nuno Espirito. Defensively, he's one of the
Forest themselves were on, I think, an 7 game unbeaten run.
No, unbeaten. I'm beaten, yes.
So they had an unbeaten game run of 7 before coming into this game. And
knowing their manager, going to such a game, you expect things to be a bit tighter. So nobody saw this 5-1 or 5-0 coming on board. But we just saw the highlight. None of the goals were fluke. Maybe the only goals that you could question.
A goalkeeper dropped.
Goalkeeper Kepa Ariza Balaha dropping that ball. That was the only one you can fault.
Sells for Nottingham Forest.
Okay.
Matt Sells. Yeah.
And for me, that was the only one. But all the other goals were team goals. And as a coach, you can be very delighted if your players are playing well within the system and the system are allowing them to flourish. But one point that needs to be highlighted is the form of Antoine Semenyo. Semenyo has been in the best of forms I have known him to be in the English Premier League. But this is the sort of player that the Black Stars coach team is not good enough. He's given the platform to manage these boys for them to have a positive impact on our national team.
That's the 7th goal of the season, 7th Premier League goal
as
of
a
the season.
winger. He plays on the left. And he's given 7 good goals. And some of his goals are classic goals. You saw the one he scored
really
good
goals, actually.
Even this one. He picked his spot and then far post.
He has the ability to use both feet. So you can play him right, left, it doesn't matter.
And he will flourish. So if you have such a player at your disposal and you cannot bring the best out of him, then clearly it is you, the coach, and not that the players are not good enough. Most of our players are doing extremely well. Look, we saw Kudus today. He didn't score, but his all-round performance was absolutely brilliant. When he picks up the ball, you don't need to be told that this is a technically good player. So when the system is right, he will flourish and he'll bring the best out of his teammates. We need to see that. We've not been able to see this form transform or transferred into the Black Star. That's why we could go a whole AFCON qualifier and not win even one game, score only 1 goal at home. And yet still, people at the Ghana Football Association thinks and believe that Otuado should stay on as the Black Stars manager. I'm worried because in March, we are playing back-to-back World Cup qualifiers. January is gone. We have a month and a half to actually put our house in order. Look, like I said, I'm waiting for the sports minister to be vetted quickly. And let's see the decision he will take. One thing that Ghanaians cannot be deprived of is the sacking of Coach Otuado. He describes these players not to be good. Semenyo is doing it in the EPL.
Semenyo is being looked at by Liverpool and
Partey
Arsenal.
is doing it in the EPL. Kudus is doing it in the EPL. The last time we had players like that.
Partey is no longer part of the Black Stars, according to Otuado, if you remember.
No, but as for Partey himself will not play for Ghana for as long as Otuado remains the coach.
I think
and that is suicidal. That is unacceptable. He's destroyed the dressing room. He's destroyed our dressing room. Our key players, our best players are not happy playing for us. And you want to keep him in the job. Look, it's clear that our players, when properly coached, when properly guided, when there's the right atmosphere around our team, they will give up their best. Because we want to be, you see, I'm worried. 52 countries, 52, 53, 24 to qualify, we couldn't qualify. 52, 53, 8 or 9 to qualify. Do we stand a chance of qualifying?
Slim chance.
Very, very slim chance.
I just want to talk about Semenyo a little. I'll be a bit of a pessimist. I think he needs to work on a few things. I think he takes the second most shots in the league after Haaland, or the most, but he doesn't hit the target very often.
Maybe that's something he needs to improve.
He needs to work on. I think his shots on target percentage is in the 20s, but top players they have to be in the 40s and 50s.
Exactly.
Because if you are taking a shot, you need to be putting on target. I guess maybe he's aiming for the corners or something.
Or maybe he's rushing it too quickly.
He needs to relax.
Was it the volume as well?
No, but the volume that's the point. A top player will take the volume of shots. It shows that he's a top player.
He's getting in good spaces.
He's getting in good position. He's taking good shots, but he's not putting them on target as much as he should.
Worry.
And he will score more if he put more on target. Because once he's on target, you give the keeper something to think about. So that's the one thing I have to say about Semenyo. But just to go to Nottingham Forest, I'm not surprised they lost once they went behind, because their strength is going ahead and protecting the lead. Because if I remember correctly, there's a stat that they've scored first in 16 or 14 games, and they've won, is it 12 of those 14 or something like that?
Crazy.
It's around that kind of number. So you know that their team, they go ahead. I don't think they've lost any match they've gone ahead either. So that's the type of team they are. So once they went, they lost that first goal. I was thinking, okay, now you have to open up. And that plays into Bournemouth's hand. Because Bournemouth's intensity, the way they'll come at you, because their keeper, he doesn't claim crosses. The percentage of crosses he's claimed is the lowest in the league. Because they sit so deep, he doesn't have to come out for the crosses. The centre backs are heading the ball out. That's just to give you an idea of their style. So they have wingers, they sit deep, they progress the ball quickly. And they are very direct. Chris Wood is the player who's been offside the most in the Premier League. So this should just give you an idea of their style of play, what they like to do. They like to sit back, get behind teams. So once they score and they have to push forward, they have to be the protagonist. It doesn't favor their style. So I'm not surprised they lost, but I am surprised they conceded 5 goals, because this is one of the better defensive teams.
They had the second best defense in the league going into this game, and then they completely conceded 5 goals.
But you see, it seems that the games they lose pretty badly. Because if you remember, they also lost 3-0 to City as well a few weeks ago. So it seems that because once they lose, they concede and they have to open up. It looks like it's a struggle for them.
One thing I like about Forest this season is that they have a defined style. And I like Nuno Espirito for this, because look, we've seen managers buy entire teams and still can't put their stamp, a structure on the team. He's made them such like an identifiable team. I saw a stat that really blew my mind. They said they had the lowest possession in the whole of the Premier League and the second lowest in the whole of Europe's top 5 leagues.
You see, so this is another stats that go to buttress the fact that it is not all the time you control the game by having the ball. There are times the one who is not in control of the game is the determinant.
Because they're controlling the space.
Yes, they determine exactly.
Because they also like to force teams wide. Because Milenkovic, he's 6'5", big guy.
When you cross those,
same with Murillo.
Exactly, they have big guys, and that's why their keeper doesn't even have to come for crosses. They have big guys in the center. They will force you wide. And you have to cross the ball. So once you cross the ball, you are playing into their strength, because the box 2 is crowded. So your striker is not going to find space. So the style is there. It's clear what they want to do. It's clear what they want teams to do against them. But like I said, when they concede and they have to now open up, they now have to chase the game. It doesn't favor them. And so the games they concede first, we'll be likely to see them lose 2-3-0.
So which means
it will happen
playing
more
against them, you need to score first.
But the way they play, it's difficult to score first, because they'll constrict their space, hit you on the counter, and then they'll score first.
And because in this game, Bournemouth actually scored really early, sort of rattled them, shook them out of their game.
So they know how to push for it. Because if you have a keeper who doesn't do, and their keeper is not a sweeper keeper in any way. Now, if you have to play a bit higher up the pitch and your keeper doesn't have any sweeping instincts, you'll struggle. Because now there's a huge gap between your centre backs and your keeper.
But quick, I say something about the Bournemouth goalkeeper, Ariza Balaha. I think he's gotten better as a goalkeeper now. Because we saw him at Chelsea. Those days, every long-range shot ends up in the back of the net. At Real Madrid, the same thing. But since he came to Bournemouth, it seems the style of play has given him a bit more
less
belief.
pressure.
Maybe, there you go.
A team that's not as high profile
I think maybe
as the
also
others.
their style. I think their amount of pressing and the way they play.
They do. He's not facing too many
because
shots.
I think Real Madrid especially, Ancelotti sometimes he likes his teams to be a bit passive off the ball.
That's right.
So that might not help him in the sense that teams have more time on the ball. And if people know you're weak on long shots and they're like 30, 25 yards out, they'll be like, let me take a chance. But I think a team that presses and that's intense, especially in that middle of the park. And back to Bournemouth just a bit, their players say they feel fitter this season. Villarreal has worked on their fitness.
The American boy, the one in the midfield, is it Adams or so?
Tyler Adams.
They have this American boy.
But even he's not even played much. Right now, I think in the midfield...
I watched him against Newcastle last year.
I'm saying he's now coming back. Brilliant. But even usually they've been playing Christie and I can't remember who was...
The champion in number 10 shirt.
Yes, Christie. That's Christie. It's Christie. I can't remember, but they said they are feeling fitter. And last season they had some issues. The assistant coach took about 3 months to come because he had visa issues. So those little things affected their start. Now the players are fitter, and when you are fitter, remember we spoke about hitting the ball and all of the.
You cover more.
Now that you are fitter, you are able to play at a higher intensity for longer. And what they are dismantling teams with is their intensity. So my issue now is that they are likely to go into Europe next season. How do they cope with playing more games? That's the question, but that's a question for next season.
Yeah, they need to struggle to at least get there first, then they can start answering.
Oh, they'll get there. They'll get there.
Let's take a quick break on the show. When we come back, we'll bring you more highlights. Stay with us here on Scorecard. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Channel 1 TV. The text and WhatsApp lines will be on your screen, so I'll be expecting some of your messages. I'll read them very soon as the show goes on. Let's make it to another match venue. It was Arsenal Football Club at the Molineux, taking on Wolverhampton Wanderers. I always knew this game was going to be tricky, and that's exactly how it played out. So Miles Lewis-Skelly getting sent off for Arsenal, Joao Gomez getting sent off for Wolves. Arsenal have the 4th red card of the season. That's more red cards than any other team. They had failed to win in the 3 previous games where they had a man down. This was the first time they finally won with a man down, but their opponents also needed a man down to make it happen.
I'm glad you said that part, because that's the only difference. This time the opponents had a red card. I mean, it was a spirited performance from Arsenal. I think they responded well to the adversity. They kept pushing.
They upped their game after the red card.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have even been in that situation to feel nervous at that point. Because I think the chances Kai Havertz missed were criminal. I think any decent striker needs to score at least one of them.
Yep.
So it makes you wonder how long they can manage with him as their centre forward. How long can they try this experiment? Because for me, I'll say it's an experiment, because at the end of the day, they've not won anything with him there. And I don't think they'll win anything with him there, because you're already out of the FA Cup.
Yep.
I don't see you winning the Champions League with this person in leading your line. And the league is looking very difficult. And the Carabao Cup is looking shaky as they start. So I think they really need to work on it. But credit to the rest of their players. They put in the efforts. They are creating the chances. I think some of the issues at Arsenal, they're a bit overblown. I think they've had some games where they are slightly a bit unlucky. But you see, what the issue is those close games that went one way last season and going this way, their way this season. And when Liverpool are doing what they are doing, it's more pronounced. So it's just one of those things that happens. But you have to ask questions about Arteta, because 3 seasons in a row finishing second, not being able to cross the line. I can understand some Arsenal fans who are getting agitated. I still think he's a very good coach. But I think right now what's letting him down is his personnel choices, especially in the transfer window. Because he's bought a lot of defenders, he's bought a lot of midfielders. But the attackers he's bought have been very lackluster. Gabriel Jesus, Kai Havertz, Willian. I would say Trossard is okay. Raheem Sterling. Those are the attackers they bought for the most part. And how many of them have made an impact that makes you say, wow, this is a good signing? Because you look at someone like Declan Rice, the impact he's had. Partey, the impact he's had. Ben White, the impact he's had. You've seen even someone like
Saliba.
He didn't buy Saliba, but Uren Timber, who's coming into his own. We are seeing the impact some of those players are having. But when it comes to the forward line, there's not as much impact. I mean, Kai Havertz scores here and there, but is he reliable? Trossard too has his moments. Gabriel Jesus, he's had like one good period of goal scoring form since he joined the club.
I think he might be out for like a long time.
I think he tore his ACL. So I think
he's out for the season.
I think Arteta maybe he can sign the defenders and the midfielders, but when it comes to signing the attackers, maybe he should leave it to someone else, because his record so far, and this is his 5th season?
He came in 2019.
Yeah, so I mean, you've had so much time to buy useful attackers, and you've not been able to do it. The best attacker you had came to the academy. Someone produced him for you and gave it to you and said, this is a talented person, use him. So I think that's a big miss. But I think they are still doing well. I think if maybe they buy an attacker, if things go their way, I think they are a good tournament team. The Champions League might favor them because they are solid defense. They are good at set pieces. So those marginal wins they can do. But when I watch Kai Havertz, it makes me nervous. Like, there might be a big game where he gets their only chance and he does what he usually does and doesn't do anything with it. So I like Arsenal. I think they are a very good team, one of the best teams in Europe, but they just like that cutting edge because they just need a top-class goal scorer.
Coach, would you buy a top-class goal scorer for Arsenal this window? 1. And 2, should Arsenal fire Arteta if he doesn't win the league?
I will buy it. They should have bought. I would have bought a top-class striker long ago. It's something. I mean, we've highlighted. Actually, if they had a top class striker, they would have won the league 2 seasons ago. They would have won the league last season. This season, how often are you going to get Calafiori
to come
to
in
be finishing like that?
Yep.
That is a striker finish
Yep.
on the half volley.
Yep.
On the half
On
volley.
most days, that ball won't go in.
On most days, that is over the bar from a defender. But for him to have controlled the ball on the half volley into the back of the net, these are chances that Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Trossard, they should be finishing such chances, not a defender. So this will not repeat itself again. It will repeat itself maybe in 2 seasons' time. Don't forget, he scored 2 beautiful goals this season. One at City and then this very one. So the cry, I repeat, the cry of getting a striker for Arsenal is long overdue. And this manager has been so stubborn. He's been backed. He's been given proper money, good cash. And then he only saw the need to bring in Gabriel Jesus because he's worked with him at Man City, and then saw the need to bring in
Raheem Sterling.
Also
because he's worked with him.
Also but because he's not even using Sterling.
And he's not even using Sterling. And he spent over 65 million to get Kai Havertz. That money shown to a team like Napoli at the time, last season, for Osimhen, they would have sold Osimhen. Just do some proper add-ons. If we do this, we do this. Osimhen is in this team. They are topping the league.
True.
Because look at those headers that Kai Havertz is closing his eyes. Look, I told you, he closed the eyes to head the ball. Osimhen opens his eyes widely, bang, it's to the back of the net.
I agree.
No goalkeeper is stopping.
I agree.
So therefore, if you ask me, look, he's bottled it 2 seasons in a row. This time around, the Man City that we all believe were the untouchable, unbeatable,
have shown that
they are having their worst ever season. We all thought
that this is
Arsenal's season. And surprisingly, they can't live with Liverpool. They are struggling to live with Liverpool. Liverpool bought just one player, the Italian international. They went for Zubimendi, and they didn't get Zubimendi. So virtually, and the slot has
Zubimendi
used.
is about to go to Arsenal.
And instead of Arteta to be buying a striker, he's buying Zubimendi.
Yes, Zubimendi, because we are hearing that they may not renew Partey's contract. Because Partey is in his last season. They may not
Jorginho is also in his last season.
Wow.
You understand? And he's going after Zubimendi. So maybe the idea of striker. So if
I've listened to him on multiple presses. He keeps talking as if a striker is not his priority
at all. And if you look at this team, they need that striker that gives them 20 plus goals a season. 20 plus, and they win the league.
And, I wrote something about this a few weeks ago where I pointed out that the last time a player scored 20 goals in a season for them was last season. That was Saka. But before that, it was Aubameyang.
Yes.
So look at that gap. When Aubameyang scored the 20 goals, I believe that was in Emery's first season, or Emery's, or the season, it was the half season Arteta took over. Yes, so that means 2020 pandemic. COVID,
team like Arsenal?
No fans. Till last season, no player scored 20 goals.
So look, to answer your question, I think if they do the evaluation, the review of the season, and they realize that Arsenal did not win the league for the past 3 seasons because they didn't have a proper number 9, they can choose to fire him. Because I wouldn't give look, no Arsenal supporter. Maybe the supporters themselves are okay.
They are not.
I said maybe they're okay. Because after Wenger, they were struggling. They were not even finishing the Champions League spot. Maybe they're okay. Oh, second, we are okay.
It seems like that to me.
I don't think they're okay. They've really been complaining.
Then I don't think they've been complaining that hard. Because look, he's one man. This is his team.
He's completely overhauled the team he met.
He's overhauled the entire team. This is his team. The only player that I would say he came to me is Saliba. He didn't buy Saliba.
Saliba and Gabriel.
Even Saliba, he didn't want to bring Saliba back.
He had to see, the money. They had to make him see reason.
See reason that he's the best defender in the French league.
In fact, I really felt that at least they've repurposed Ben White for right back, but I felt that was wasted money at the time.
Yes.
I don't know if I said this. If you remember, I said this that it was wasted money because you have Saliba. So you sent him on loan to Marseille. He makes the Ligue 1 team of the season. So it's now like this guy's made team of the season. I don't really want him, but I have to bring him back. So he moved Ben White to right back. It's great that Ben White has adjusted. So I think sometimes he's stubborn. I think it doesn't help him.
Yeah.
But the striker, I think at this point, he'll tell us that, okay, Havertz might score 20 goals this season because he scored like 14, 15. Ooh. So they might tell us that, oh, Havertz has scored 20 goals. So, but
when it matters, can he
score?
Look
at the chances he's missed.
Yep.
Look at the game.
Can he deliver when it matters?
Some of the games where it's like, look at the Newcastle game, for example, where they lost in the Carabao Cup. If Havertz scores some of those chances, I don't think they lose the game.
And for his height, he's not very dominating in the air.
He's not.
At all. He's easily
bullied. He gets bullied.
Which game was it that they played the ball over his head and he jumped and missed? I feel like we did that game. I think it was the Aston Villa game.
Yeah, the one that caused them the second goal.
If he was a bit more dominant in the air, he clears that ball.
6'4", 6'5" for crying out loud. Anyway, Kai Havertz giving Arsenal headaches, Arteta giving Arsenal headaches as well. Let me know what Arsenal fans, you guys think about Mikel Arteta. Do you let him go at the end of the season if you finish the campaign trophyless? Let me get to another game, and this is our tactical highlight game of the weekend. It was Manchester City Football Club up against Chelsea. Again, we expected this game to be tight. Chelsea looked like they would make it competitive. It was blown wide open. Let's get the highlights. Manchester City starmen doing the business for them on the day. Coach, what do we have on the board?
Look, very, very simple, but it is so painful if you are a Chelsea fan. I think Maresca went into the game throwing his team under the bus.
How so?
So that Pep Guardiola, this is a good evening, boss. He just, because look.
You mean he presented himself to be slaughtered? He just
presented his team to be slaughtered because he was going to face his boss. Look at the first goal. This is when Chelsea was at their best. Throughout the game, anytime they pressed the ball in a coordinated manner and anticipated better, they go and they were the better team. Look at here. Before we go on, watch. This is the system. If you roll this up, heads the ball, pause it here. Look at it. Look at the Chelsea players here. Look at how far they've gotten. Now, the Man City defender, he was the newcomer into the team.
Abdelkader Kuzanov.
Abdelkader Kuzanov. This is him. Look, I don't know why he will be bending your head to head the ball to
at that level. And he's a very tall guy.
He's a very tall player. The moment he does that, look at Nicolas Jackson. Look at Nicolas Jackson. Jackson is not pressing the ball, but he's anticipating better. Because Jackson knows that right behind him, if you draw a line here, look at the Chelsea press. Look at the line. Look at how high the Chelsea line is. And look at these other two Chelsea players. Watch them. Here and then here. So the Chelsea team, as it stands now, are in super control of whatever Man City had to do. So Nicolas Jackson anticipated better. The Chelsea press properly coordinated. They've locked up. If I am the guy defending, I'm coming this way. True.
Simple, just play the ball to
so that we reorganize. Because at this stage, there's no proper defensive shape for Manchester City. But he decided to be smart, and then he was going to the goalkeeper. But because Nicolas Jackson had anticipated better, he read the situation, and that was an easy tap in. So Chelsea took the lead from here, and they were very, very dominated. They dominated Man City. They created two other chances that they should have buried, which they didn't take. Now watch.
I just want to you see, I think Kuzanov, his problem was the inexperience and the fact that it was a kind of a new whatever.
I think he was
accepted.
Stage fright got to him.
But I think
he should not be doing
I think the pressure of the occasion got to him. Because if you remember, even about 5 minutes later, he
considered another yellow card.
It was as a result of this. But fundamentally, you are not taught as a player to head the ball. You should be doing this.
Of course.
And he refused to do that.
I think he was feeling that Man City, we don't clear the ball. You know that kind of.
Let's go to Ederson and restart the whole
I think, and if you think about it, he's been there I want to say he joined just before the Champions League game. And look, Pep even said recently that I might have to learn Russian or use Uzbek to communicate.
I don't even think he speaks English.
He doesn't speak English. So
that is why
Pep didn't try for him to play.
That is why. Forget about Pep. If I'm extremely handicapped when it comes to communication. I do the simple things. I don't complicate matters. And as a defender, you are put there to defend. Like I said, go to through.
Let's reorganize.
That's why I think the Man City play out of the back made him feel that he should do that. That's the only thing I can.
We don't have the Guardiola goal. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in a sequence that happened over and over again and again. And that is why I say that the Chelsea coach virtually presented his team to be slaughtered.
Yeah.
Now everybody watch this. Before this goal, this particular sequence has occurred twice already in the game. One, Sanchez made the save. The other one, Man City couldn't capitalize on. So this was the third time. What do I mean the third? The third time where the Man City goalkeeper
went long.
Well, after having been given the ball, and then he went very long.
Yep.
At this stage, the game was 1-1. Look, let me say this. In a game of football, if you are a coach, at what point in time, under which conditions or situation do you say that let's go 1v1? Two things. When you are losing a must-win game, a game that you have to win at all costs, and you are losing, when you are losing and it's about 10 minutes, maximum 15 minutes to go, then you tell your players, the communicators that, look guys, we are going 1v1. That is why when you go into the market to buy your defenders, you want to buy defenders who are strong, who are big, who are powerful, who's got genuine pace for such situations. When you go 1v1, you cannot. The team that could have done that, in my view, was Liverpool.
Even
because
Arsenal.
Van Dijk and Arsenal, Van Dijk, Saliba,
Konate.
Gabriel,
Those are big defenders.
could have dealt with Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland is a monster. He's
6'5".
If you remember, Haaland has had a lot of issues with Arsenal. Because
Exactly,
when he
because
tries to get physical with Saliba and
They
Gabriel,
deal with him simple. Now you have Chalobah and Colwell. Those guys are substandard. No, that is the fact. They are substandard defenders. So you don't want to throw them against such a most talented or a deadly goal scorer. You don't want to do that. So look at it. Look at it's 1v1. And look, I'm forget about the goalkeeper here. He is in no man's land. I don't know whether you describe this as an act of stupidity because he's been doing this for a lot of time. Every now and then he's doing that. Now, what is he doing here?
Because
Jesus
look, coach,
Christ.
because I can see a lot of his players running back to
Yes. What is he doing here? The ball is away from goal. Haaland is not running through the middle here. He's not coming through here to go. He's not doing that. Haaland is not doing that. Look away. You left the 6-yard box and you've come out all the way to the edge of the 18. What is he doing there? Unacceptable. So now even look, when he rose it, the moment when he realized that, pause it, when he realized that,
And you should have seen the look on his face. There's a look on his face that basically tells you that he knows the goalkeeper had acted
if I'm the coach, he's out.
Yeah.
If I
didn't want to use the word.
No, if I'm the coach, he's out.
You could see from Haaland's face that he knew the goalkeeper had made a mistake.
Exactly.
and I just want to even add something. I saw a stat that Robert Sanchez, from moving from his goal to there, the chance went from 0.03 xg to 0.43.
That is too huge a jump. Too
So,
huge a
so
jump.
that made it, so it went from a nothing chance to a big chance.
Because why was it a nothing chance? Because there was Chalobah. Yes, it's a 1v1 situation.
There were
the
three
ball
players-
was moving away
three
from
players
there
running
were
into
three
cover.
Chelsea players
distance
coming to
as
make
well.
it 4v1.
Yeah.
4v1.
Because even if you look at the finish, if Sanchez is in the goal, it's something he just
No, if he's in the goal, the guy wouldn't even.
you won't even
try
shoot.
that.
But I'm saying that if he had shot, he just
Exactly. And then again, having done that,
Yeah.
one would have thought that the Chelsea coach would have now told the players that, yes, it is 2-1,
Yeah.
but the next goal is so very important. So make sure you avoid that 1v1 situation. Again, they repeated it. So this was the fourth occurrence again. Now the goalkeeper again goes long. Look at them.
The ball is headed on.
Look. Look at them. The two of them. You see?
1v1
It's
again.
a 1v1. Look, every other Chelsea player
It's up the
is
field.
in the half of Man City. And you've left just these two guys there. And he's bullied Chalobah. He's bullied Colwell. The two of them couldn't handle the physical battle when it came to Erling Haaland. And the Chelsea coach just stood there with his hand in his pocket. I was looking at him, what is this?
he say he's a cool guy.
Then he had the is it the
Puffer jacket.
the jacket? I don't know. What is that? Oh, Charlie, I don't know what was wrong with you. You are there. You are seeing this.
Man.
Stop it from happening. That is why you are being paid the amount of money you are being paid.
Yep.
He didn't do that. Now look. Now Ellen, look at this.
Yeah, he
No
completely
defensive shield.
pegs him back.
He holds him off.
Yep.
This is Chalobah.
He panicked.
This is Chalobah. Chalobah now is having a look at the situation. No, none of them is keeping an eye on Phil Foden. Foden knows that Haaland has got the beating, has got the physical beating, the strength, every beating on Colwell or Chalobah. So Haaland just controls this one
and wait for the runner.
Wait for the runner, bang, into space. There you go. Now look at it. If you pause this there, every Chelsea player now is passive. All of them. Because they have to chase one field forward. They are all in front of the ball. This is kindergarten. This is coaching. If you are a coach and your team is exposed just by a one route, one football, this cannot be done.
Not
at this
once,
level.
not twice, not
twice,
three
and
times.
not that touch to expose. Just boom, and the team is exposed like this. No, you don't do that. And again, once they were passive, they were playing catch up.
And Foden's touch was not even. Look, the ball was even going like this.
Because they were behind.
There was so much space.
They were wary of not buzzing into him because that probably be a red card.
And if you look at Foden, once he entered the box, he was now very, very calm.
Because he didn't rush. He knows that any form of contact,
he goes down. Whoever
penalty.
does that, penalty and a red card because they were all behind him.
Yeah. Now let me just talk about Pep's strategy a bit. This is even part of the reason he bought Haaland.
Yes.
Because he knows that sometimes teams will pin them back with their press.
There you go, slow.
And knowing how accurate Edison is, you can go long and relieve the pressure.
Exactly.
Knowing his physical profile and that kind of stuff. And we've spoken about Cole before. I'm not a fan of Cole.
I am equally not a fan.
I don't think he's a very good defender. And when he meets because he's not a very good defender,
He's
on top
too
of that,
one-sided.
he's a lefty too.
On top of
Very
that,
lefty.
on top of that, if he meets a striker who's bigger and stronger than him, it's even worse because
Yes.
his fundamentals are not good. So now when someone is physically more imposing, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But even before Haaland came, they used to do this. I don't know if any of you remember, Aguero scored a goal like this.
They used to do that.
I think that one was more of a mistake. It's more like they try and play long and hope that maybe the centre back makes a mistake and
then he
Aguero
bounce.
can go. So it's not something that Pep has done just today. It's something he's been doing.
And if there's any manager who's supposed to know that,
It's Maresca.
it's Maresca because you've worked with him.
You know how this works.
And frankly, if you're a manager, you don't want to play a Haaland against Erling Haaland because he's fast and strong. Those are his biggest strengths.
You can do that, but restrict the movement of either your centre back, the other pair, or one of your DMs. Withdraw them so that DM or the other centre back picks up the second ball.
Because it's very funny for me that, like you're saying, look, in about the 4 or 5 sequences we watched, the DMs or the CMs were all not in the picture.
My whole point is that Erling Haaland's weakness is in tight spaces. His weakness is when it's crowded.
He doesn't have
So
the flair.
why would you give him half the pitch to work with by playing a high line and trying to deal with him at the halfway line? I think that was a fundamental mistake they made because it's a goal kick.
Yes.
You can be at the
No, this one, it wasn't a goal kick.
But they
were playing.
But I just mean that when you're in that situation, if you see that you are not able to get the ball and Edison has the ball, retreat. Make sure you are like your 35, 40-yard line. So there's not as much space. Get into shape and restart. But I think once they consider the second goal, it's like now you're under pressure that, we have to press. We need to get the ball.
That's where the coaching comes in.
But the fact that he let it happen to consider when the first
times.
It happened multiple times.
Yeah.
So
and for me, I was just asking myself, maybe that's why at the beginning I said he presented his team for his boss. Maybe he sat in the dressing room and he pitied his boss that his boss have been going through some very difficult times of late. So let him put some smile on his face.
Another thing is he defended Sanchez in the press conference.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this.
He would do that, but he would deal with him in the dressing room.
Because they said Sanchez has made 4 mistakes. Now, for me, if your keeper has made 4 mistakes, that's
4 individual errors.
That's 3 mistakes too many.
Yeah.
For a goalkeeper, especially. But he said,
he's looking for a
people
response.
miss tackles, people miss crosses. But I think 3 mistakes. I think 4 mistakes.
But this mistake, it was so uncalled for. So look, if you think through it, you understand. The ball going away from goal.
But I think he thought Chalobah couldn't catch up.
No, but if Chalobah couldn't catch up, this is what should get you to come out.
It's in the middle.
If it's in the middle, then you come. But there is the situation where the ball is going away from goal.
Because Chalobah can at least enter the
He
central
can go
channel.
and delay. Normally, what he would have done once he got there is to delay him for his teammates to come. Then he go.
But I was even thinking that even if Haaland, let's say, goes wide,
you
Chalobah, if you are in the middle, now you've closed the zone in a way that he can't just come closer to goal. Even at the very least.
He was the only person dealing with Haaland. But Haaland had already seen the goalkeeper. So the moment he successfully checked back onto his left foot, said, look at this man, he's in no man's land.
And Chalobah slipping didn't
I think you should have seen you should have seen his facial expression when he scored the goal. You could tell that he was laughing at the goalkeeper
because he had won the lottery.
Exactly. You present such a thing to him.
What do you think you're doing?
He takes you to the clinic.
Wow. So good breakdown there on the Chelsea-Manchester City game. Coach doing justice to the goals that have been scored. Let's take a break here on Scorecard. When we come back, we have one more Premier League highlight, and then we'll get into other leagues. Stay with us. Welcome back to Scorecard here on Channel 1 TV. Let's push on with more highlights. Manchester United were up against Fulham Football Club. These two teams played at a really competitive game. I believe it was the first game of the season for United. They met again in the second round. Let's check the highlights. Hard-fought win for Manchester United. Very tricky game. Let me come to you on this one, Coach. What are the lessons United can take from a game like this? Because at the beginning of the season, I think this was, again, a very difficult time for them.
You see, this team is not talented. So when they go into games, they are expected to win. That is where they tend to perform very badly. Against teams that you don't expect them to win, where they now go out there and keep a solid defensive shape and then step out and wait for their moment. That was by far, I think, the first or second shot on target in the entire game. That was close to 70.
Yep. It took about 70 minutes for the game's first shot on target. Yep.
On target. So it was about making sure you don't lose because of what happened last week at Old Trafford against Brighton, where they were so bad. In midweek, they were very bad in that first half against Rangers. Harry Maguire committed a blunder and Rangers equalized. From nowhere, a pass from Martinez to Bruno Fernandes, and then Man United won the game. So they need to sort of build a certain winning mentality.
Yep.
And the best way to do that is to go into games and don't get beat. So if you look at what I was impressed with it was the tempo. You could clearly see that Amorim clearly told them that, look, these guys have rested for 7 days. You played on Thursday, so don't play at a certain tempo. Control the game. And he spoke highly about the fact that if United don't concede early, they tend to control the ball better. That is what the 3-back 4 in the middle, 2-1 allows you to do. It's a system that does not only give you a proper defensive cover, but it allows you to control the game if you've got good technical players who can take care of the ball better. And that was what happened today. So it was a matter of going to the game and making sure that you don't get beat. But a quick on Lisandro Martinez. I think, look, his reading of the game is absolutely brilliant. His only deficiency has got with his height. If he was a bit tall, but now that he's not tall, I think what he's done to himself to make him a top player is his anticipation. And he's one of the back three. But look at where
he found himself.
Following the ball. And when Fulham dealt with it, it was a pass. But he was very, very committed that I'm going to win this first. And the moment he won the ball, that set him up for the shot. And fortunately for him, it took a wicked deflection that took it up and dipped it into the back of the net. And United had to win this by hook or crook. I mean, this manager has given this team structure. Most of the players there will not survive come next season. I say, on top of my head, Eriksen, Casemiro, Lindelof, Ivansi. You can mention them, close to 8, 9, 10 of them. But you need money. You don't bring the best young manager in the game, as we speak, from his Sporting Lisbon team and don't back him in the market. You can't sell Garnacho to go and buy players. This is not the United way of doing it. United don't sell its hottest young product. Like United wouldn't have had Beckham, Scholes, Giggs, the Neville brothers. You would not get those people. So go and find money. Mr. Ineos, go and find money somewhere and invest in the team. And then put money in there because somebody, a triple-digit billionaire, wanted to buy the team. You are a single-digit billionaire. You've connived with the Glazers, and you now want to sell the best young prodigy in the team to buy players. The supporters will not. They've spoken against it. And the most annoying part is that you sell Garnacho to go and be in Nkuku. Where from Nkuku? Where from Nkuku? Who is Nkuku? He cannot get into the Chelsea first team. He makes Man United better? You're not serious. Good win to Amorim.
Picky.
No, this one is
wrap this United game up for me. Let's go to something else.
Look, it's a good result for them. I mean, because you look at Fulham, who've been one of the more decent teams in the league. So it's a good result. But like we said, the performance was not anything to write home about, which is why he doesn't want to dance. So I understand him.
Of course.
Yeah, it wasn't an impressive performance.
That Arsenal, it was 10v11 for close to 1 hour.
Yeah.
Against one of the best teams in the land.
Yeah.
So if you
the euphoria was natural.
It was an away. So it was a natural, a spontaneous response.
Let's move it on and let's get to other leagues. Let's get to the Spanish La Liga. Real Madrid Football Club were up against Valladolid. Real Madrid running out with Kylian Mbappe, I believe, with a hat-trick in this game. Let's get the highlights. So Real Madrid Football Club getting the win in that one. Let me talk about Real Madrid here. Susu touched on that quickly for me. Mbappe hat-trick. Started the season slow. Looks like he is where he is expected to be.
Yeah, right now I think he's 1 goal or 2. Okay, Lewandowski scores. He's about 2 goals behind Lewandowski in the top scorer charts. They are top of the league. Because Atleti have only picked up 1 point from their last 2 games. Because they just drew this weekend as well. So, and they have won. So things have gone better than we expected. And I think it just shows how fast football can change. Because if you remember after the Clásico, we all thought that, okay, now it's Barca's league to lose. And then they go on a horrible run. I don't think they won a game for about 6 or 7 games.
Maxes,
Then we see Atleti win 14 in a row. And we're like, okay, Atleti, this is your time. Day 2 is like things have kind of gone back. So it just goes to show you really can't. It's difficult to predict football, but Madrid, they have the players. I think Mbappe is adjusting to playing through the middle more. He's becoming more used to it. He's embracing the role. He's embracing being a number 9. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. Again, for Real Madrid, where they are judged is the Champions League. That's what we want to see whether this Mbappe experiment will work, because they've won the Champions League last season. They won the league last season as well. So it's like, if you are going to win this, how is Mbappe going to change the team? Because what are you bringing to a team that's already won these things? You have to show it. You have to keep the consistency. You have to win.
And the bigger games will come.
The bigger games will come.
Liverpool, Manchester City.
Exactly. And the first Liverpool game, he was poor. We also, I believe he missed a penalty in that game. Exactly. So he has another chance against Europe's elite teams to show who he is. But I like how he's looking. Look, he's a talented player. I knew he would score goals. It was just a matter of whether he would score 30, 40, 50, rather than whether he would score goals at all. And the other players are adjusting. Bellingham is now getting more assists because he's playing a bit deeper, less goal scoring. We are seeing Rodrigo coming in on the left, doing some different things. We are seeing the players move around. So I think Ancelotti is very adaptable. He moves his players around. He's not afraid to change things around, work with the players, rather than he's not wedded to a system. So he'll get the best out of the players for sure. So it's been interesting to see how he plays out tactically against the other top teams.
Touch on Ancelotti for me. So he was going to stay long term. He did a U-turn and says that regardless of how the season ends, he's gone.
Look, I don't know, but he's a top manager. And normally these top managers will want to buy out on the high. I think he's done everything he has to do at Real Madrid. So it is, if he decides it's time to leave, nobody questions him, because he's built this team. My only worry with the team is their defensive organization. I think they need an overhaul of that central defensive pair of Rudiger, Militao. They need to completely change that. If whoever is going to take over from him, if the person can change that, in midfield, I think they are set. There's Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Valverde.
Even Ceballos is looking
he's looking a bit. I think he's been around for a very, very long time, and he's experienced too. Up front, they are set.
Abundance of riches.
Abundance of riches. So whoever comes in to replace Carlo Ancelotti will have to look at the back line and try and fix that problem. I think if the person can do that, they will have another sustained run, not only in the La Liga, but in the Champions League. For Barcelona, the undulating form that they've experienced of late is very typical when you are dealing with kids, when you have young boys leading the charge. At the end of the day, they will need to play together for at least 2 or 3 seasons before they can begin to know how to handle such pressures. They are exciting to watch. On their day, they will take any team at all to the cleaners.
They won 7-1 today.
There you go. But can they do that week in, week out? That is what is lacking. So like I said, it is Real Madrid's title to lose. I predicted that if they don't defend the title, I don't think it will be a good telling on them. But so far, I think it's a 7-9 points lead. And I don't see how Barcelona is good.
They still have all their opponents.
Barcelona only weapon may be in that return leg.
Madrid will need to play Atletico as well. Always a tricky
No, they'll
tie.
beat them. Atletico will come, but at the end of the day, Real will
Well,
take them.
let's get to that Atletico game. They were up against Villarreal. Like Graham rightly said, this is their second week dropping points, so no win for them. After that, seamless unbeaten run. Let's get the highlights. Atletico Madrid, their hard-fought draw, really. Could have lost this game easily. Thoughts on this one?
Yeah, they were a bit sloppy. I looked in the first half from the highlights we saw. Look, we saw that chance they were giving up. I think Villarreal, if they were more clinical, Villarreal scored 2-3 goals early and they lose this game. And we know Atleti, they are a good team. They are a more attacking team now, but they are still not a team that you look at and think to yourself, if they are 2-3 goals down, they are coming to win a game. Yeah. And if you look at the goal, I think they got a bit like, because even the way Correa handled that ball, he could have messed it up. But I think they are still a very good team. I think they are still in the title race for sure. But when you drop points like this,
they need to beat Real Madrid.
Yeah, but when you drop points like this and Real Madrid are playing the way they are playing, because Real Madrid didn't start well.
They look like they are picking up
and
steam.
Remember, everyone was saying that it was a mistake to buy Mbappe. Yeah. Now that they are getting together, things are clicking. Because look, at the end of the day, chemistry is chemistry. Yeah. It's not done overnight.
And they suffer a lot of injuries too.
Yeah, so Real Madrid are building up their chemistry. Barca too are also there. You don't know which Barca is going to turn up. And knowing that the second half of the season to play, knowing that all these teams have to face each other, and there'll be points to be won and dropped against these rivals, you need to keep up your form against the smaller teams. Beat the teams you are meant to beat. And then when you meet your rivals, you take the win. That's the path to the title. And I think right now, we are seeing that Madrid have a very good grasp on the teams they are meant to beat. Madrid don't drop points against the teams that are below them.
Nope.
The games they seem to have dropped points are the teams that are a bit more closer to their level. Once in a while, obviously, no team is perfect. They'll drop points. But generally, they seem to be more ruthless than the other teams. And the truth is, those games matter more.
True.
You play your title rivals, that's what, 4-6 games a season? But the rest of the league is the remaining 30 games. That's where the title is won, because 90 points can win you a title most of the time.
True.
So you have to win those games. And Real Madrid being more ruthless in those games gives them the edge for me.
Let's go to Italy and get to the Serie A. There was a big game this weekend. It was Napoli taking on Juventus Football Club. Let's get the highlights. So Napoli winning that one. Big game. Lukaku coming up big time.
Look, big game. This is what Antonio Conte as a manager, as a player, is built for. For those who had a chance to watch him play football, he was that of a fighter. Reminiscent or more or less a replica of General Gattuso.
It tells in his personality.
So when he's leading this team, everybody will have to follow instructions. If you watch the way Napoli play of late, they are so tactically built, inclined. You dare not step out of the tactics. If you do, you're out. And he's the sort of manager who instills discipline in his players. And for me, they had to win this. Because don't forget, Atalanta, Inter Milan
have won.
They have won.
Yeah, 4-0.
So there's still a contest there. I think this league will be decided between the game between Inter and Napoli. And I really do fancy Antonio Conte, because everywhere he's gone, he's left a mark. Maybe you want to put aside the spaces. Tenure. Okay.
So Napoli have played a game more. They have 53 points. Inter have played 21 games. They have 50 points. So they are right behind them.
So there's right behind them, 3 points gap. So if you come down to that game between the two of them. On the part of Juve, I think Thiago Motta, look, he's been overly pragmatic.
They are very underwhelming.
Very, very. And I think he needs to liberate the team a bit, because even when they are playing against teams you expect them to beat.
They're fifth on the table.
Yes. He's drawn too many games.
No, I think he's won 7 games, drawn 13.
That's too many.
And lost 1. This was their first defeat of the
season.
Too many
drawn games. And if you look at the games they've drawn, most of those games, if you watch them,
if you get your 2 points from all those ones, you're top of the table.
Exactly. He should liberate them a bit. There are certain teams, by the fact that
you wouldn't even half those games,
Juve,
you're top of the table.
Juve is one of the formidable
right now they are 16 points behind. So those 13 draws, even like you said, if they had won 6 of them,
or 7 of them,
you are very close to the
top of the table. True. Let's
finish off. I want to say something about Antonio Conte. I think he's showing that he's a more what's the word I'm looking
Dynamic
for?
man.
He has more bows in his arrow or whatever you want to say. More bows in his quiver than people give him credit for. Because right now they're playing a 4-3-3. They have Zambo, Agisa, and McTominay playing. If you remember how David Silva and De Bruyne used to play for Man City, kind of number 8 with a license to roam for it, which is not something we associate with Antonio Conte. But he's playing very interesting tactics. They are looking very good. He's using players differently. And the fact that he's able to get things out of players you don't... Because look at McTominay. I think this is his highest scoring season in the league. Lukaku looks revived. A lot of assists, not necessarily a lot of goals. So I think Antonio Conte, he's showing... And look, if he wins a title with Napoli, this will be the 3rd Serie A club he's won a title with. Because he's won at Juve, he's won at Inter, and he's going to win at Napoli. And I think winning at Napoli again, it shows. Because Napoli, this will be their 4th Serie A title in their history. That should tell you that... Look, Antonio Conte is one of the...
gave them 2, Osimhen gave them 1.
Yeah, exactly. So look, it's very impressive. And I think, but I wonder how well they'll do next season. Again, one of those teams that when they get back into Europe, the amount of games, how will it affect that team?
That's the only dent on Antonio Conte as a man.
And it is true. His European record is not good.
Absolutely.
Let me read a few messages to close out the show. So Kwam from Ashala just says, Arteta and his Kai Havertz must leave the team if Arsenal fail to win a trophy this season. This one's from Sasito, says, sure, Arsenal need a striker. Prof. Zio from Shukura says that if Mike Oliver is truly a professional referee, he should come officiate just a game between Kotoko and Kim Faisal and Babayara. He will become a pastor. I don't know what that means. Please ask coach if he believes in Amorim. Obed from Kasarodo in Takrady.
I've always believed
the guy has done a dance for the guy.
I've always been pleased. Let me do this before you wrap up the show, I beg you. Is the birthday of my colleague at work.
Okay.
Getsinda Na Akwele.
Okay.
She's watching the show. If I don't do this, I'm dead tomorrow at work. So Getsinda, happy birthday.
Nice
this
one.
Is Coach Nimley. It's from your boss, Desmond Asante, Sami, and all the guys in the chemistry and the science department of the Roma Ridge School.
Nice
we
one.
say happy birthday to a lovely, hard-working lady.
Nice.
Happy birthday, Getsinda.
Let me just read a few more. So Fred from Sunyani says, today I can sleep upon United strikers not performing. Okay, I'm not even sure what that message is. So, Abraham Jedu of Broadcaster says, kudos to my darling club, Man United, for their victory over Fulham. They should keep it up. This one says that it's been a good week, I think. He says, congratulate Mo Salah for his achievements at Liverpool.
I think he scored his 100th Premier League goal at Anfield or something, or 100th goal at Anfield or something like that. Daniel
Texan from Cape Coast says, hoping Arsenal will be at the top of the table come May. We did it in 89 and 98. Mbappe is eyeing the Pichichi, and Lewandowski needs to start firing. Okay, so that's it from us. Thank you very much, Coach. Thank you very much to Sue Graham. Thank you very much to all of you out there who made time to text into the show and also to watch the show. Same time next week, Scorecard will be back on your screens.